The Personnel Committee will now come to order. We have one item. Ms. Cindy, may we get a roll call?
Mr. Moore,
Here.
Ms. Abrams,
Here.
Ms. Dominguez,
Present.
Mr. Piazza, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, so 3 out of 5, so we do have a quorum.
Yes, sir.
So we have one item on the agenda for personnel. Ms. Fussell.
Yes, sir. Our Director of HR, Mr. Gavin Bitter, has put in notice that he is moving on. So we wanted to take this opportunity. We had changed when Mr. Bitter came on. It was the business background. This reverts to the original job description of the HR Director where there's an educational background, because today when our HR Director, like even our coordinators, Michelle, she goes to a lot of those, they offer the certifications that help with the HR, the legal, the labor laws, all this. They offer those certifications through that professional development. So going back to the educational background adds in the understanding of just the cycle of the school year. When you have to evaluate teachers, whether they're on academic plan, when you're making decisions about the next step, those are some things that we think are important. So that is the revision to this. The rest is just refreshed wording from normal expectations of the HR department. And then I asked you about, there's an urgency to this position because we're hiring right now, and we implemented a new system. Frontline is a new system. So we have a new system, and we're in the middle of hiring. So we wanted to make the change, but bring it to you to see if you all would be gracious enough to, after you decide, if you vote for it, to then bring it to tonight's board meeting.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the updated recommendations from administration. A second.
Okay. Okay.
Just help me, Dr. Fussell, understand this, because I know I don't have a human resource background. If I was a human resource person that don't have a teaching certificate, and I'm like, I really wanted to come work here at Tenchville Parish, and I can't even apply for this now because I don't have a teaching background. What is the negative? I mean, I know the positives, but what would be the negative on that?
Well, it's not about, I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about the current, but what I found in working throughout the year and a half year, is just that in the school system, the cycle of how things happen, the timing of how they happen, and then a lot of it is people in the disputes of what may occur within the work day, which is not, so it's not always the legal law of did you work this many hours, it's much more the actual school culture and school happenings that occur. Because, I would tell Mr. Vitter, this is not the legal things, they tell it to me in education. So somebody knowing that, like who was in our previous experience, you can learn the other part. You can learn the HR part, you can get that certification, but unless you've been in the school environment, when you're going through some of the conflicts, some of the, even some of the hiring or placement or need, with that part, it's just sometimes having had that experience makes a difference.
Okay, that's a valid answer, a good answer. What if you had someone in another school system that wanted to come here? Now they come here with experience as an HR in education, but yet my fear is...
I see, you're saying cutting it out completely.
My fear is, and we've done this before with other job descriptions, when we make something so specific, it excludes sometimes people that might be a good fit. And sometimes I love the word preferred, or I love the word encouraged, or I love the word whatever, because you're limiting yourself in this. My opinion, this is very limited to, we only now, at least 3 years administrative, strong knowledge, a valid type A, level 3 teaching certificate. Your pool is shrunk.
Yeah, and we did have underneath there preferred for the other, but it didn't negate the educational, so I completely understand what you're saying. The main thing was the last time we excluded, like you had to have the business part, and
Right.
the other part, and most of our administrators didn't have that part. So-
And I see where you're going, but
Yeah,
you see,
yeah.
you, just like we did before,
Yes.
we excluded the education
Yes.
experts. Now we're gonna exclude the business experts,
Yes.
who may have an education background.
Yes,
I don't know.
I completely understand that. I personally don't.
So you're suggesting maybe an inclusion of what they're asking for into,
Or the word preferred.
so that we have an or, yeah,
Blending the,
exactly.
because the only thing that changed was the top, was literally the degree, the rest was the same.
I mean, the only thing on there really that would limit you would be number 2. So, you know, that could, if you just added the word preferred,
Okay.
you know,
You mean preferred HR?
Preferred administrative.
Yeah.
Teaching,
No, that
certi-
would type A or level 3 preferred.
yeah, because you
Yeah.
still want 3 years experience, you still want strong knowledge, you still want exceptional leadership, you still, you know,
And a master's degree would be the business part anyway, is what you're saying.
right.
I completely agree.
And just, you know, so, I mean, I'm not on the committee, but if somebody want to make a motion to amend it,
I agree with you. I think adding that preferred doesn't negate it, doesn't, I think that's a
it
great.
gives you more flexibility.
Yeah, I love that.
There may be more applicants.
Yes,
Correct.
I love that. We don't have to change it again. I love that.
So in order to amend this,
Well, I made the motion. I think, Robin, you, okay, so
Yeah,
you would
well-
have to withdraw your second and then I'll amend.
okay, I'll withdraw my second.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Rose.
Okay, so we'll make an amendment to my motion to add the word preferred after, on line number 2, at the end of line number 2. Is that?
And I'll
that's
second.
good?
okay, so the motion has been made to add the wording preferred to the second item on the qualifications by Ms. Rose. Can I get
A second.
motion? Ms. Rose has made the motion, you second it? All right, Ms. Cindy, we'll call for a vote on that amendment.
I do agree, though, Ms. Fazell, you really need somebody that knows about school and leadership and education aspect.
Voting's open.
The job a little easier.
Ms. Abrams.
Did you get it?
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So while you're on personnel, can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So I guess both of you assistants, like, all of the advertisements that went out today, a lot of them said these were filling vacancies. Like, are all of those jobs vacant that went out today in the finance department and all of that? I don't even remember some of them jobs.
I can tell you the academic one. So Miss Marquita Jackson left in December. She went on sick leave and then she retired. And so that one, that was one that was out. The supervisor, unfortunately, was Miss Gardner's position. And then the new one that you all graciously approved for the innovative turnaround. And then the 504 coordinator, which was out previously, Miss Warner had left that also in the mid-year, and I just did the job to the end of the year. Those were the academic ones that were open and were vacancies.
Okay. So in the finance department then, could, Mr. McNeely, would you just fill us in on like who had these positions and now, I mean, I do know that risk management.
We discussed that at the last meeting.
Yeah, but there's a lot, like a budget coordinator. Who was a budget coordinator?
The budget coordinator's position you voted on last week.
That's the one we voted on last week. And then the purchasing coordinator was Mr. Tesfich, right? Okay, so school finance foreman,
I voted on that.
that was the new one we added last week. Okay, and then we got all these account clerks where the people,
Two account clerks from a resignation and a retirement.
okay, and so we got 2 account clerks and a financial account clerk. And then, of course, we have the computer people. I know we need those. And the rest of them are coaches or whatever. Okay, just kind of refresh the memory on all those jobs. I didn't even remember some of that.
How many do we have in the finance department that works in finance?
Business services.
Yeah, under what financial?
You know, that's the ones I give it.
Well, with these new positions that we're advertising for in y'all department, how many do we have in there?
If you're counting here just at central office, which includes payroll, accounting, purchasing, risk
She needs
management,
to-
there's probably 26, counting the 17 financial account clerks that we're also over. They're right at 40.
40 people, okay.
So are these account clerks working, that we're hiring, are going to be assigned to a position, or they're going to be up here?
We're not putting in there.
I mean, it says central office, but don't we need account clerks at school?
They're gonna be at school.
Okay, okay.
There's, excuse me.
Microphone,
Sorry.
microphone.
There's one account,
How's this?
Great.
There's one in there that's an account clerk too. That's because of our AP clerk is retiring.
Okay.
And so that's a filling of a retirement. And then there's 2 financial account clerks.
Yeah.
Those are school-based. One, like Jeff said, one is a retirement and the other was a resignation.
Okay.
One suggestion I would love to see, and we talked about this earlier, I would love to see maybe like an organizational chart. I know there's been a lot of changes, especially since Jeff got here, as far as moving some of the secretaries from the school or taking some of the roles. Anyway, I'm totally lost, and I got a phone call today and I could not explain it. But if I had an organizational chart that showed how this system is set up, I could at least better explain it to someone who calls and say, hey, look, yeah, we moved these people from here to central office, but now they're doing, I don't know.
Okay.
Anything like that would help me understand it.
And the financial account clerks went from 32 to 17. And the way we were able to do that, instead of having a full financial account clerk at elementary, a full one at another elementary, she's waving at me, and a full one at another element, they're sharing schools.
Right.
So we can give you that chart to show who's at
Maybe a
schools.
before and after,
But
which would help show
Right.
the manpower, where we're putting that, so that we can go to the public and we say, look, this is the changes these are the improvements that we've done. This is how we have this many people, we have this many people.
sure.
Be good.
I know we have people that are going to ask questions like, and I've had this question asked before, we need SROs in our schools, we need this in our schools. Why do we have so many people in our financial department? So if we could just have a chart to show what everybody does, it'd be easy for us to explain that.
Sure.
Inside the new budget that you'll be getting, we're doing the revised budget that you have in front of you, the new budget, but then also the AFR or the CAFR that we do, the audit report, has a full organizational chart from, all the way from the superintendent, all the way down to the schools and students and all the central office. So all of that is in there.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you. It's a lot.
Okay, if there is no other questions, no other business,
You got to vote on the.
we did already.
It passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Personnel Committee is adjourned.